Welcome to Alpha Wolf Capital. I'm Tim, and I personally want to thank you for stopping by and checking us out. Today, we have RCAT Holdings. RCAT Holdings is a U.S. manufacturer of drones. They are passionate about protecting our warfighters. I find this to be an interesting story. I have interviewed Jeff Thompson, the CEO. This will probably be my fifth or sixth time. And I have grown to appreciate Jeff's passion for what he is doing. And I think the company is positioned well to potentially provide investors an above average return on their investment. It's a time where Jeff has said, and says it again in this video, that this is anticipated to be an exciting, great summer. And it would be a good time to put these guys on your radar. They have one of the largest manufacturing facilities for drones in the United States, and they are in the process of bidding some massive contracts both here for the U.S. Army and abroad through NATO. These are substantial contracts. If they land one of them, it would be transformational for the organization. So sit back, relax, listen to what Jeff has to say, and if you like what he has to say, put these guys on your radar. And again, thank you for tuning in to Alpha Wolf Capital. If you like what you see here today, do us a favor, give us a like, give us a share, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. All of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Trading, and we genuinely appreciate you taking the time and the effort to do them. So I hope you enjoy the interview today, and I look forward to you joining us for the next one. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I recommend highly that before buying any security, speak to a financial advisor and do your own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with a follow-up interview to one of my favorite stories. A very focused company, RCAT Holdings, drone manufacturer, probably one of, if not the largest drone manufacturers in the United States, with a facility in Colorado. You can see that. Jeff, is that part of the facility behind you?
This is the Teal factory. We're in Salt Lake City.
Okay. Oh, Salt Lake City. I'm sorry. What did I say? So yeah, that's how big is that facility now?
It's over 26,000 square feet for the manufacturing. I'm not quite total on the with all the office and the engineering space, but there's 26,000 square feet for manufacturing.
Okay. RCAT Holdings, Jeff Thompson, passionate about what he does, wants to address maybe some shareholder concerns, Jeff, and just talk about things that are happening with RCAT right now.
Sure. And there's a lot happening in the drone industry. But yeah, it is super exciting times. Everyone's doing well in the drone industry right now. We're all drinking out of a fire hose. Everybody's gone down from big drones to small drones. Yeah, before we talk about all the really cool and fun stuff that's going on in the industry and what's going on with RCAT, let's get some of the housekeeping for finance out of the way. So just want to make sure everybody knows we're not doing a raise right now. We don't have an ATM in place, so we can't use an ATM. Actually, frankly, we can't do a raise right now until we file a 10K. It's mechanically impossible. So we're not doing anything in that world right now. I think any concerns I hear from a lot of the funds that are invested in RCAT is our cash position. But if you look at what's happened in our revenue from second quarter, and if you look at our guidance for fourth quarter, which we won't announce till the end of actually now this month. It's July 1. And our revenue doubled. So our burn is obviously going to go down significantly if your revenue doubles from 2 quarters ago. So I think people will be okay with our burn rate. That'll relax a lot of people about the company. And then we have many different ways between our inventory and our revenues to do non-dilutive capital. And there's a lot of financial instruments we can do out there without diluting all the shareholders, including me, the largest shareholder.
Right. So, I mean, I've been thinking about it. You are in the process of, because we've talked before, of negotiations for some pretty sizable contracts, not just the U.S. Army contract, but things overseas too, right?
Yeah. So it's, we've been talking about them for a while because we've been going after them for a while. We've literally, some of these, contracts we've been chasing and programs of records in other countries have been 14 to 18 months in the making. So, and a bunch of them are bubbling up this summer, and a couple others, I'm not going to mention which countries they are. A couple of brand new, pretty large tenders just came out that fit our capabilities very well. So things have, since we talked not too long ago, things have already bubbled up even more. So there's a lot of activity. NATO is expanding the percent of GDP for the next 3 to 5 years for defense. So, this is not just a short-term thing. As there's wars actually going on, people are readying themselves for the future to hopefully have everything in place so they can go through deterrence. So, everyone is trying to make as many drones right now as they can. But yeah, there's some very significant NATO contracts. We've talked ad nauseum about the SRR contract, but we're almost at the 5.5-year mark. Started with 37 companies, included all the biggies, all the big primes, Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, all of those folks. And it's now down to 2 of us. Down selection is supposed to happen before September, according to the timelines they gave us. We all just finished up what's called IOT&E. It's basically an operational test where you're putting drones against each other. And basically, it was our drone against our competitor's drone. And we have no idea how it's going. We think it went well based on no one's contacting us. So that's usually good news, that there's nothing breaking and everything's performing. So that's all we know right now. It's just kind of a misery thing, waiting till September to see if you won. Now there's nothing else we need to do with the SR program. We've gone through 5 years of this. They've checked off all the boxes. They've come to our factory. They've checked how we store our inventory. There's no more things that we can do to get the contract, which is great. And we can do other things right now, but it's also not knowing if you got it or not just can drive you nuts.
Right. But it's coming. I mean, it's coming to a head. I mean, you're going to know soon enough, right?
We can either be very, very excited in a couple of months, or it's time to move on from the SRR contract. But we went from 0 to $18 million without a single dollar from SRR with a brand new drone last year that did not exist. It's continuing to sell well. And now we're, obviously the drone that we submitted to them is the TL3. So, with all new capabilities, it'll be the next rev.
TL2 or TL3?
TL3 will probably be released sometime next year. That's okay. The bird that we've submitted for the prototyping for the U.S. Army SRR program of record.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about a couple other pretty exciting announcements. You just bought it, or you're in the process of an acquisition of kind of like the final piece for a complete package for the warfighter out in the field.
Yeah, so we just announced the RCAT family of systems, and it comes with a brand new FPV drone we announced called Fang. It includes the TL2, and then what was actually great timing for us is to sign a letter of intent to buy FlightWave, which has the Edge 130 Blue UAS certified drone, which now we have a complete family of systems. That's the Fang's in the process of trying to get Blue UAS certified. Edge is already Blue UAS certified. Teal 2 is already Blue UAS certified. So we're going to have a complete portable family of systems that they can go from, the entire kill chain. We've got from targeting all the way down to launch and strike. So we have something that can enable the warfighter to complete their mission without anyone from off the battlefield. This all can be controlled right from the battlefield.
So FPV is, you announced that with UMAC, right?
Yeah, so they're making the FANG right now, which is great. So they've been doing FPV, Rotor Riot here. They've been doing FPV since 2014, 2015. So they're the leader in the space. They're doing great. They also with UMAC also owns Fat Shark, which is probably the most sold FPV goggle ever in the history of FPV. So the expertise there is fantastic for our FPV segment. Then we have the Teal 2, which has been selling great. And then you complete that with the Edge 130, which has incredible flight time, 20-kilometer range. We really have everything from the kamikaze drone that takes out the target, ISR drone that can do center field coordinates, and then the Overwatch to help find all the targets so that we can coordinate all of these battlefield situations.
Plus your exclusivity on the swarm.
Yeah, so the Sentient fits into this very well. So we have an exclusive agreement with Sentient where we can right now it's focused on the Teal 2. We can do Overwatch. We've done Overwatch before, keeping birds in the air with eyes on target for over 8 hours. They now have, they have a 12 drone unit. They have an 80 drone unit. So there's a lot that we can do with that. And, as we look at, so if you look at what we just announced with the family of system, not only is it great for what you'd be doing in the Ukraine or in Israel, in Gaza, but now where the next possible war in Taiwan is all going to be based on water, right? So the Edge 130 can land and take off in water. It's unique to almost any drone out there, specifically in our class. It was actually originally built as a water-based drone. Then you have our swarm capability, which can be mounted on ships, or even the smaller 12 drone package for swarm is made to fit on a Razor. So that's a nice small compact unit that can be mounted almost anything. And then you have the 80 drone system that could be sitting on shore, taking out any low flying enemies coming in. So we've got, not only do we have great solutions for what's happening in Gaza and in Ukraine, we also have a great solution for Indo-PACOM in Taiwan.
So you've got, when we talk about, you talk about the warfighter, so does all this stuff fits into one rucksack or?
Well, the swarm's not in a rucksack. That's
not the swarm. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything else can fit in a rucksack. So if you've got, the way these teams usually work is, that they're going to bring 40 FPV drones with them. So someone's going to carry that, and they might have land robots to do that. But usually you're just bringing them all with you. Yeah, you're going to take a few ISR drones like the Teal 3/Teal 2. That's going to be all out there to help you get to those targets and guide you on those targets. And now we have the long flight time, long range capability, which basically competes with AeroVironment and quantum and edge autonomy. So we're stepping into a whole new realm with basically group 2 capabilities with group 1 pricing, which is changing the industry. We're the least expensive portable kill chain in the world.
Okay, so yeah, that's something to highlight here. So you mentioned something when a company's already got a drone approved through the military. What is it called again?
Program of record.
Okay, so that is kind of what has been in place, and that's what's getting, a lot of these companies have gotten some pretty substantial orders for Ukraine, right? Because of that. You didn't have that in place, but could have that in
Yeah,
place coming
once
up.
you have a program of record, it makes it so much easier for every part of the U.S. government to buy a product. It makes it way easier when there's things that break out like Ukraine to do foreign military sales. There's no more buttons to push. It's not crazy bureaucracy that goes on for years. Program of record, they need drones, push the button. Aero Environment had a lot of programs of record in place before the Ukraine war broke out, and they got a lot of revenue there. So good for them. They're a great company. So if we had a program of record for the TL2 a year or two ago, we'd be doing hundreds of millions in revenue ourselves probably. So it's going to be great. Hopefully, if we do win in September, this program of record, again, the Marines usually jump right on top of that. It's an Army program of record, but everyone else can buy off that program of record.
So the qualifier, or I guess in order for you to get a program of record, you have to actually win a contract and sell them some products.
Yeah, you'd have to be around for the last 5 years in this one. That's what it frustrates a lot of startups, because they can't fight these big long war machines and survive the valley of death of trying to win these contracts and run out of money. It's such a lengthy process. We're in year 5.5. And it was in tranche 3. This was supposed to be 3 tranche program. We're now on tranche 2/3 because of the Ukraine war. They brought tranche 3, which was going to go another 3 years starting last September, and brought it into tranche 2. So it would have been 9 years of trying to win contracts. So this is kind of winner take all right now for tranche 2 and 3 because of the Ukraine war. And then when you have that, I think the program runs through like 2033. So it's frustrating because when you win that, like when you see other companies win programs of record, like, God darn it, takes forever. You get pissed off about it. But when you win one, you're like, it's substantial revenue. It's long-term revenue. It's every year. It's already budgeted. And then it makes it so much easier for the other, this is an Army program of record, but the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force can all utilize that program of record. Foreign military sales can utilize that program of record. It makes it an easy button for people to buy your equipment because you're completely verified by the largest army in the world.
Right. And that's the advantage right now. What's funny about it is the stuff that's on that is older stuff, antiquated cameras, right? Big, bulky things, right? That are really expensive.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of the drones that were being sold to the Ukrainians, they were $500,000. They had a crappy camera on them. I'm not going to say whose stuff it was. You could have bought 44 Teal 2s with a camera that's 10x better, has night vision, all this other stuff, and can be launched by your hand. Doesn't need 1 or 2 people to launch it. So it's that's just the way things work in these government programs. But we're pretty excited about how this program's working. There's a lot of stuff that actually weren't in the requirements that we can actually do, which is EW. We've passed EW testing, even though it's not a requirement for SRR. But if you buy a drone that's not EW capable, you're basically buying a bunch of drones for the Army that are completely useless. Because even in the Ukraine, if your drone doesn't pass EW, they won't even if you give them to them, they won't open the box.
What is EW? What is that?
Electronic warfare. It's a way to jam your drone.
Oh, gotcha.
So they try to jam your drone and so you can't fly it. And so people are switching to, how to do what to do when that happens, or just have a radio that can handle it. Then, everyone has to go against GPS denied, which we also do. Everyone's switching to basically vision navigation. We actually, our partner, KEF, actually kudos to them. If they're watching, they just won a hackathon in the Ukraine. And they went against a lot. I mean, Ukrainians have incredible coders, and for them to win that hackathon, it just shows you how smart those guys are. So congratulations to them. But we've already worked on integrating. We actually got it running on one of our birds already. So there's a lot of stuff that's not in the SR program that we're actually already going to be doing when we launch the TL3. So they're going to get a way better bird that's in the requirements. It will meet the warfighter of the Ukrainians and meet the warfighter of the U.S. Army. We have swarm capability, and as we've announced previously, we are going to be doing lethal on the TL3. So it's going to have a payload capability. It's going to have a secondary payload. You can drop kinetics from it. You can drop sensors from it. You can drop ammunition from it. You can drop first aid from it. So it's going to have a lot of different uses that weren't in the original requirements. And then you combine that capability with our family of systems like the FANG with its partnership with MMS and if you see in our new video, it's a pretty sizable kinetic on the FANG drone, but that's your kamikaze capability. Once you launch that, it's never coming back, whether you like it or not. So there's a lot of different capabilities that we're bringing to the Army, because the Army is now getting super focused on FPV. Well, not just the Army, the Marines, everyone's going, full speed ahead on FPV. And the good news is, we've been doing FPV since 2015.
Your passion, Jeff, is about protecting and helping the warfighter, right? Bringing our guys home safe.
Yep. I mean, I've said this to you before, but all this bullshit about dual use, it's just a way for people trying to get money from VCs to say their total addressable market is larger. We do not build our drones for dual use. We've been building our drones right now for the warfighter, the requirements they ask for. Our controller is what the requirements they ask for, the features and what they want to be able to safely launch a drone, not have to go chase it if it crashes, and to do everything it wants to do, mostly, almost specifically, always at nighttime. So we're giving them exactly what they want. Now, if it happens to work for the Border Patrol, which they buy our drones, if it happens to work for, CAL FIRE and all these other people which have been buying our drones, that's great. And other three-letter agencies, but we are building this for the warfighter first. If it happens to work for other people, that's great. But we're not going out that we're dual use, that we're, going to be, checking people's crops and things of that nature. We're there to make sure the warfighter has everything they need to complete their mission.
Right. And
they're there to kill the enemy. So if your company's not up to that, then you shouldn't be working with the Army.
Right. And I mean, look, it's a sad thing. I understand, some people don't want to have or be involved in killing people. I mean, but this is the reality that we're faced with. I mean, we have to protect our guys and do what needs to be done, right?
The goal is for our armed forces is to be the lethal force to protect the United States. And if you're building dual use, your drone's not going to be as capable at doing the things that the armed forces need to complete their mission. And that's our only focus. And hopefully we build something that's so lethal no one ever wants to go up against our Army or our Department of Defense. So that's a deterrence, I think, is a much better way, but you have to be focused on it, and you got to be willing to do everything that you're requested to do to complete that mission. So that's where we are
Right.
as a mindset for our company's culture.
And let's just real quickly touch on the fact that 2026, anything for whether it's first responders or whatever, Border Patrol, you're not going to be able to use China drones, right?
Yeah, well, they've been the Drone Act passed in the last NDAA budget, so federal dollars can't touch it. That's over. Now they're actually looking. It's got a lot of people upset, but the FCC is going to ban them, kind of like Huawei, and it's bipartisan. We don't do consumer drones, so this doesn't benefit us in any way, shape, or form. But if you're letting all these Chinese drones inspect our infrastructure, if we depend on Chinese drones for anything, it's, hey, we wouldn't let Huawei come here with their phones, okay?
Right.
DJI is a flying phone, so get a lot more information. So the logic of, yeah, we can still have DJI here flying around and passing stuff back to China, yeah, whatever. We don't care because we don't do consumer. But
right.
The consumer world's a little upset about all that, but they can go be upset about that. That's not our wheelhouse, and we frankly don't care about that.
Okay. All right. what else, Jeff? What else you got?
An exciting summer. The factory's cranking drones out. Everything's going pretty darn good. It's feels nice, but we got a lot of work to do. We've been doing a lot of work on making our video unbelievable. I mean,
So you mentioned earlier that you could go see where the kinetic that's on the drone. Where do they go where would they go to watch that video?
Yeah, you can go to the we have when we launched the family of systems. There's a great video. It's called "Welcome to Our Family." It's pretty good.
Okay.
But it's right on the Teal website. You can get to it. You can go to YouTube, the channel Teal Drones on the YouTube channel. It's you can see the full family of systems there, and so that's we've been working on launching the Fang for quite some time. We've also been working on getting a VTOL that could give us that extra time in the air and the extra kilometers to go search larger battlefields. So launching the family of systems a few weeks ago at the Paris Defense Show was really exciting for us. And we got a great response from all three drones. We got some other great partnerships that are bubbling up, which is going to be some exciting news coming at you. So we got as I've mentioned before, we gonna have a great summer. Gonna be an exciting summer for RCAT shareholders. We got a lot of work to do, but we're doing it. We got a lot of partnerships coming, but we have got an unbelievable portfolio of drones right now that are perfect for the warfighter.
So if you get one of these big contracts, right, SSR, whoever, whatever contract you get, I guess the question would be, can you keep up with the demand in terms of manufacturing with the current facility that you have? And then on the financing point, I mean, if you have a big ass contract from the United States Army, I would think there are all kinds of ways for you to get financing that would be non-dilutive.
Well, they also give you a big portion of it up front. They realize you got to go buy a lot of product to do it. So when you win these contracts, even the ones from NATO, you get money up front, and that they're used to that because the NATO countries always have to pay up front. So you want to make sure you're getting paid. But it's I'm just kidding, by the way. These contracts come with money up front. So as you see, once we get down the road here, and if we win a few of these this summer, it'll be very rare to see us do a financing where we're getting paid up front.
Right, exactly. And in terms of manufacturing, being able to keep up with what you have.
That's all we've been working on for the last 6 months is how to scale Teal 2. Now we're going to be looking at Teal 3 scale, Fang scale, which is we have a great roadmap on how to scale that because the Fang, we're going to need tens of thousands of them. And then on the Teal 3, we already you've probably been seeing we're extending our production line hours. We have been scaling that. We have outsourced partners that we've been working with that if we need to step on the gas, we can outsource and have a new line up in a month. So whatever orders we get, we will meet, and we're ready for them all, no matter how big they are.
Can you expand the facility in Salt Lake City or Salt Lake City?
There's plenty of room in here.
Okay.
Plenty of room. We're not going to be scrambling at all. We are ready and prepared for any of these large orders.
All right. So, you've been saying for a while that this is going to be an exciting summer. Hopefully that rings true, right?
Absolutely. And happy 4th of July to everybody. It's an exciting time. But it's going to be a great summer.
You seem pretty confident, Jeff. I got to tell you, man. All right. Let's just take I want to do a real quick thing. I want to tell you about the stock and the chart and how it's looking. Can you see the chart next to me?
It looks really small, but
all right. I'm going to move your logo for a second. Before I move the logo, look, if you're unfamiliar with the story of RCAT Holdings, right up there next to me, there's a link to their IR investor relations. Go sign up for email alerts because I think this would be a really good time to be paying attention to what is developing at Red Cat Holdings, right? And that way, when they come out with a news release, it just goes right to your email. And when you wake up in the morning and you see that Red Cat is for some reason spiking higher, you don't have to go look for it. It's right there, should be right there in your mailbox already. Okay, now let's take a look at the chart technically. And it's really in an interesting area for what is developing. So you can see, anybody can see that since 2021, the stock has been in a downward trend. That's this red line that is heading this way. We have a very bullish formation that is happening. Could be a reverse head and shoulders pattern, which is, here's the head, this is a shoulder, this is a shoulder, and then you have the neckline, which actually today they tried to take out that neckline. It did not close above it, but there was a nice spike in volume today too. So you had two things that were happening, a nice volume spike, and you're trying to take out the neckline. Now, where it gets really interesting is coming up, and if you look at it, we almost touched that trend line today. So if you take a look at where the news flow is and what Jeff is saying and the way the stock is acting technically, it is set up beautifully for a breakout. And it wouldn't be just a small breakout, it would be a long-term trend line breakout, which means you're going from that trend of the momentum of from the upper left to lower right. You break that trend to the other side. Now you're starting a new trend, hopefully from the lower left to the upper right. And that can last a long time, just as long as that trend was left and more, right? I mean, that's when you really start to get some momentum.
What, a lot of people asked me today what was going on with the volume early this morning, and I think it's just because we got added to the Russell microcap. So that's the only explanation I have. But I mean, hopefully we'll keep hitting that trend, and the only thing that it's going to keep that trend going and be long term, so you're not just getting spikes and then comes back down, is what I've talked to you a lot about, is every one of our quarters has been at least double-digit sequential growth. We expect that to happen from now on. Continue to grow your revenue dramatically, continue to work on your margins, have your path to profitability. That, in the micro cap land, that's what you got to do. No one believes you until you do it. But your micro cap's been in the crapper for quite some time. And even the S&P 500, other than the, which I was watching today on with the talking heads, is other than the magnificent Mag 7, the other 493 had underwater earnings. So they're expecting those to break out this year to have a much fuller rally, and then eventually hitting a small cap. But that's about as much as I know about chart analysis. I make drones. So you're the guy that's supposed to make the predictions.
Listen, the reality is that it's been 36, 37 months of pain for small microcap companies.
Yep.
And if you look at what we've been through a pandemic, the worst supply chain issues in the history of mankind, the fastest interest rate hike cycle in the history of mankind. And I would call that a fairly challenging business environment, right? And
fortunately, we raised money right before the downturn started. We built the factory, bought the chips, got ahead of the supply chain. Unfortunately, that we did that, because as now the supply chain's getting better. We're coming out of this. We're about to receive all these massive orders. If we didn't have a factory like some of the other drone companies that didn't quite make it, we wouldn't be
probably talking right now, right? I mean, you are positioned, and this is what we talked about. Because I've been covering you for a while, and this is what we talked about in the very beginning, was that
getting to this moment,
positioning yourself extremely well. Now, was it going to happen overnight? No, it wasn't. But I can tell you this: Jeff does what he says he's going to do. It might not be within the time frame that everyone anticipates, and that things will always happen that are beyond your control, right?
Let's not forget, we did go from 0 in revenue with the Teal 2, brand new product, to 18 million in the first year.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not, I mean, if we were VC backed, having, we had one quarter with 123% sequential growth on a brand new product, we'd be, we'd be a unicorn. But it's opposite land right now. Public companies are not getting those valuations for such incredible growth. So, but we're just going to keep trudging along. The stock will catch up with us.
Absolutely.
We're just going to keep executing, keep building drones in this factory, keep selling drones, build them, and collecting the money.
So listen, I mean, the bottom line is that it's been a long road. You're coming now to this. This is what you were talking about with me from the first time I met you. This is where it's starting to get, this is going to get real, right? And when it gets real, I think it gets really fun for everybody. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's we've been working hard to get all these NATO contracts. I've been meetings off and on in the last 3 days, even over the weekend in Ukraine. We just got to keep pushing on and making sure that we follow up with everything and make sure we can deliver when we get possibly large contracts. There's so much bubbling up, and like I said, we're all drinking out of a fire hose in the drone industry. It's not just RedCat. Everyone's actually probably. I know Anduril's off the charts, and AeroVironment's off the charts. So Edge Autonomy, they're all doing great. So we're all in a great spot right now, and nothing's going to change over the next 3 or 4 years.
I think that one of the things that RedCat does extremely well is ask the questions and listens to the customer. Right? I mean, you've detailed. I mean, you're giving them what they want. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's one of the things our person in charge of marketing, Stan Nowak, he's like, we truly do listen to the customer. Almost all of our product is from listening to the customer. When they told us to switch to nighttime, because no other drones were doing nighttime, and 95% plus of every military mission is done at nighttime. So no drone was working at nighttime. That was silly. So we switched to dominate the night almost 2 years ago, launched the first drone after designing it and building it and coming up with it, launched it a year ago, did great in its first year. The controller that they wanted, we listened to them. We basically built a controller that's exactly what they wanted in the SR program. So there's a lot of good things that are going to come out of this if we win the program of record. Already the feedback we're getting on the TL3 is fantastic. So, it's going to be a great summer. It's going to be a great fall. We think it's going to be a great next year. I don't see a stop in, specifically with my schedule already. It's like, I'm going to try to have a great summer, but I'm already going to have to be going all over the globe and continue to work on this mission.
Okay. So look, I mean, I think just to sum it up, first point is there is no worry, and don't be worried about a dilutive capital raise. That is not on the agenda, right? There is a new acquisition, a complete line of drones that are built for the warfighter. I mean, you have all the capabilities. You got surveillance, situational awareness, swarm. You got the whole thing, right?
Absolutely.
And now it's time to reap some of the rewards of all the hard work and efforts that have been put in, and hopefully that happens soon.
No, absolutely. I mean, and all these airframes that we have now, we started the RedCat Futures Initiative because we have a great airframe. We have Fang, we have the Edge 130. All these partners that we've been working with in the RedCat Futures Initiative can put their stuff on our birds. So, if the Air Force likes these features and these things they want, that can be work with one of the partners or with that partner and this partner. They can pick and choose, kind of like an app store. Same on the Edge and the same on the Fang. They can get all the features they want. They might not want the big kinetics that we have on there. They might want the kinetics that we have on there. So between the RedCat Futures Initiative, our airframes, we have the complete package for portable systems like no one else has in the industry.
And I think that's exciting, man. All right, Jeff, look, hopefully the next time we talk, it will be after the award of some significant contract somewhere. How about that?
I definitely hope that's the case.
Okay, my man. All right. You're awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Hold on a second. Thank you for tuning in to another CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Trading. Today we had Jeff Thompson from RCAT Holdings, ticker symbol RCAT. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor, give us a like, give us a share, and do not forget to smash that subscribe button. All of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Trading, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Trading wishes you the very best of success.